This is the Thundersport 500 Cup 2017, round 1, Brands Hatch. It says race 3 at the bottom of your screen there. That's because we have had the first 2 Thundersport 500 races, but this is the Thundersport 500 Cup. So many entries that we have for the Thundersport 500s, we can't possibly fit them all on the grid, so we've got a 2 from 3 race format. To sit here and go through exactly the permutations of that, we would be here, well, probably long after the checkered flag goes out. But what you see is what you get here. You've got a load of freshman riders, newcomers to the sport with orange bibs on. You've got a few regular Thundersport 500 riders that might not have qualified quite so well yesterday here for the opening round of the championship, maybe a bit rusty. And of course, we've got some of the old boys as well, the senior cup riders who are aged over 40, I say in inverted commas, as they now make their way up into Druids for the first time. Sid, the Thundersport 500 Cup races, we've seen this a couple of times over the last couple of years because of the sheer amount of entries that you've got. This is the best situation for them, but it doesn't necessarily mean that at the front of this race you're going to see riders that will be battling for the championship this year.
Well, these guys are no duffers, I can say, to begin with. I mean, like, because these are the ones that with the back end of the other grids, but these guys are still pushing, and you'll see some great racing all the way down this grid. It's elbow to elbow, knee to knee stuff, and most of them obviously will be rookies, but you watch them learn their trade and come up through the ranks.
Well, here we are then at Brands Hatch, and it's been round 1 now for Thundersport GB for quite a number of years, I think it's fair to say. 10th year of racing for Thundersport.
Well, it's the furthest south, isn't it? So presumably it should be the warmest place.
Well, it doesn't look like that at the moment, does it? Because you can see here out on circuit, despite having a bit of rain, it has started to dry out a little bit, but just trying to work out what tyres some of these guys have gone for. I don't think the leaders are out there on wet tyres. It might just be a bit too dry for that, but we'll have to get a good glimpse in a moment. There you can see number 66 and number 72. That's Chris Jones and Bobby Campbell, who are fighting it out for 3rd and 4th place. But across the line we go here, and I think that's Oscar Smith that is in 2nd. It's Roddy Taylor that actually leads this one. Sid, Roddy, your old mate from, it says Aldershot in the programme, but that accent ain't from Aldershot, I know.
No, he's definitely a sweaty sock, isn't he? Old Roddy, bless his heart, he's a good old boy. But yeah, he's done a bit of racing in the past. Brilliant bloke, absolutely brilliant bloke. Came back from an illness a couple of years ago, and he's just enjoying himself. Always got something to talk about to you, always got a huge smile on his face, like most Scots, you know. Brilliant people. So many of them come play at Thundersport GB. It's brilliant.
Well, he might not have a smile on his face for too long when he finds out what you've just called him here during the commentary.
I do it to his face, so it's no problem.
That is the derogatory term for
it's not.
for a Scotsman. But no, nice to see Roddy up there at the moment. He's got his hands full there with number 56. That's Oscar Smith, as I mentioned, in 2nd place. A bit further back there with the bright number boards. We like that from the commentary box. Number 90, Harley Preble, Redneck Racing. Always good to have a look in the programme and see some of the names for the teams. Sometimes there are a few that are actually unreadable. But Harley Preble out there inside the top 5 at the moment. The lead has changed. Oscar Smith has gone through to the front, the rider on the Berkshire Pallet Honda. Bobby Campbell, as we mentioned up there. Stephen Shrubshaw, we saw him earlier on, one of our freshman riders. Look out for him, number 178. Daniel Swift as well, number 73. And 1 or 2 familiar names further down the order as well. But it is at the moment Oscar Smith that leads this one from Roddy Taylor. Roddy Taylor was leading a little while ago, but the Scotsman has been eclipsed for now. There's number 5, Martin Ratcliffe from Gillingham, or Gillingham. Gillingham or Gillingham?
Gillingham.
Gillingham, of course. Gillingham being the Kent version. I only say Gillingham because being from the East Coast, we have basically, it's spelt exactly the same way as Gillingham, but because we're from East Anglia, it's pronounced Gillingham. It had to be, didn't it? But this particular rider, Ratcliffe, is from Gillingham in Kent.
I'll tell you what, Steve, you know, there is a mixture of tyres out there, there's no doubt about that, but if you're on dries, you've got to follow that dry line, because some of the guys I'm noticing who are on wets, they are out offline to try and keep these tyres cool. These Dunlop wets are actually pretty good in these conditions. They don't fall apart like the Bridgestones used to, which was always the grizzle with the Bridgestones before. They gripped really, really well because they were an exceptionally soft compound. But these...
Oh dear.
Well,
I don't know what was happening there, but there was a little bit of a mix-up. A couple of riders went wide, and in the end, number 344 here, James Hale, has ended up in the gravel and makes his way back out on circuit. So he's just going to have to be a bit careful there.
It is, as I say, if you go offline on dries in these conditions, you could be potentially in a bit of trouble, couldn't you?
Yes, I think that's fair to say. These two at the front of this Thundersport 500 Cup race have just drifted away from the rest of the pack, Oscar Smith and Roddy Taylor. He cannot shift the interest at the moment of Roddy Taylor there in second place. The rider there in second. They're now coming up to a bit of traffic as well, so this will be interesting to see how they get on through this traffic. There you see, across the line they go again.
And of course, traffic is the thing which is going to be, it's going to be the predominant factor. Roddy is very, very fast, but it's all a matter of how you catch the bikes in front, isn't it? And you either get it gifted to you, you get held up. With this many on the grid, it's always going to happen, isn't it? Particularly on a small circuit like this, Steve.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly is. Well, that didn't sound good either. No, that was the familiar sound of a bike on its side. And unfortunately, you can't quite see the number there, but the rider's up and is okay at the very least. Saw a Repsol sticker on the side of the bike there for a moment.
I thought it was Mark Marquez.
Well, I was actually going to say Phil Doody, because of course he had an HRC colour scheme, didn't he?
Yeah.
But of course, Phil Doody liked to high side more than he did low side, so that obviously wasn't him. I just wonder actually who that was that you've just gone down there. I'll get as soon as we find out, we will let you know. But anyway, at the front of the race, there has been, I thought there'd been a change there. There hasn't been. It's still Oscar Smith that leads this one from Roddy Taylor. And now they really are starting to not just come through a bit of traffic, but a lot of traffic. You have to remember that of all the entries that we get at Thundersport 500s within Thundersport GB, some of the rookies will be completely new to motorcycle racing in general, whereas both Oscar Smith here and Roddy Taylor have been in this championship for a while, and let's just say that they're not really letting any of the tail enders off lightly. There is number 414, Stuart Burgess. Stuart Burgess, or Burgess, I would have said, as he comes across the line.
It's a bit of a baptism of fire, isn't it, Steve?
Just a bit. Further back there, I can tell you that Chris Jones at the moment and Harley Preble are in a battle for third, and they are joined by Bobby Campbell and Steve Shropshire. There's not a lot between those guys, so any one of them could end up with third place overall. Around we go into Druids. I couldn't quite see there what that bike was parked up at Druids, but that was the bike that we saw going down earlier on. Smith it is at the moment that has the advantage. Here's 53 up the inside of 73, both with orange bibs on, both novices. 53 is Simon Burgess. 73 is Daniel Swift, you mentioned him earlier on, the rider from Rotherham.
Just can't quite get the benefit of slipstreaming here at Brands, can you? I think this is where Roddy is struggling to sort of have a go, really, at Oscar.
Yeah, you're never really in a perfect straight line at any point when you head around a circuit like this. The Cooper's straight, I think, for all of about a second and a half that you are, able to get that slipstream. But Roddy Taylor is going to give this a good go on this final lap. Harley Smith it is that leads this one then, as they now chip into Graham Hill Bend. Roddy Taylor for now thought better of it. You have got to be so committed to make a move up the inside there. Again, down the Cooper Straight, not close enough for now, so he's going to have to carry a lot of corner speed into the last few, around 30s, etc., to have any chance of a run to the line now. Around we go, up towards Clearways. Number 56 it is that leads. There's Roddy Taylor, his eyes fixated on Smith, as they now make their way onto the start-finish straight, and unless there's a mistake coming from Smith here, it looks like the spoils are his. Or are they? It's very close across the line. The checkered flag is out. And that was a really good effort there from Roddy Taylor. He got some slipstream, but he wasn't quite close enough. 0.04 of a second between Oscar Smith and Roddy Taylor in their first Thundersport 500 Cup race that we see here at Brands for the year. Brilliant race there between Oscar Smith and Roddy Taylor, the senior rider. Chris Jones is third, Harley Preble fourth, Bobby Campbell fifth, and Steve Shrubshaw in sixth. That's easy for me to say. There you see the top three then, Smith, Taylor and Jones. And overall in the Thundersport 500s, it's a perfect start for Pete Bardell. 100 from 100. He leads ahead of Lee Howarth and Adrian Teasdale. In the seniors, Adrian Teasdale, well, no surprise there. He leads overall, but just 4 points clear of Alan Tanton after round one. John Bolsover there in third place overall, ahead of Roddy Taylor. And then in the freshmen's, there you see, very close indeed, Lee Wharton has a 4-point lead over Daniel Swift, with Adam Campion looking to be the champion at the end of the season. He's there in third. From Brands, we say goodbye. Next up will be round two, and it'll be here in no time at all. We will see you at Donington Park very soon.